We are back, and we are going to actually get into the training at this point in time. This is going to be, as I said, a series of modules that are designed to cover every aspect of credit, what Ascent does, and what you will be doing, and giving you the tools necessary to be able to bring consumers back to a level where their credit is helpful. Now, in order for me to, I feel, be most effective, I know you all are not going to want to look at this face only for the next, 5-10 modules. So I've asked Jeff Harrison from Swing Point Media to come in. Jeff has been kind enough to agree to produce these videos for the Ascent Network. And Jeff is going to conduct these in an interview type of a style where there's give and take. Hopefully you'll find this more interesting and you'll get a little more out of the training sessions themselves. Plus, there's one other advantage to this. In this question and answer type of a format, hopefully it's going to make you think a little bit about questions you might have that maybe aren't covered in this material. I would highly recommend that you write those questions down and that we talk about them one-on-one or maybe in a group setting with other trainees. So please keep that in mind. Get a pencil and paper handy, keep it close to you, and feel free to write and jot any questions down. And remember, at the end of each of these modules, there will be a short exam, and you must pass that exam with a 70% higher score or greater in order to be able to represent Ascent. So here we go. Jeff?
Aaron, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. So let's just dive right into that first question.
Sure.
I think when we get started, it's like, what is credit repair? I think that's that overarching question we'd like to answer in that first module.
Well, credit repair is, in short, the correction of an individual's credit profile. What is a credit profile? A credit profile is something that we are all familiar with, the big three: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Those are what are called credit bureaus or repositories. They gather data, and it's a different topic for a different day, how those companies got started and so forth. But those are the three credit bureaus or repositories that today 99.9% of credit gatherers or credit grantors count on or rely upon for their scoring, which gives them a premise as to whether or not they're going to move forward, an indication as to whether or not they're going to move forward with that loan, with that lease, for that employment, in some states to grant insurance or not grant insurance, to get a job. So credit is used for a lot of things other than, do I get a credit card? Will I qualify for an automobile loan? Or will I qualify for that mortgage? A lot of different things. Based on that, there are mistakes made with the information that TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax gather. How many mistakes are made? Quite a few. There is a organization in Washington, D.C. Called the Public Information Research Group. Public Information Research Group. And they did a study, and their study showed that 29% of credit reports contain serious errors, false delinquencies, or accounts that did not belong to the consumer. 41% of the reports that they maintain contain demographic information that was misspelled, outdated, or incorrect. And on that point, I'm going to pause for just 1 second. And the common conception is that demographic information, misspelling of names, transplacement of numerals in or numbers in a person's social security number that appear on a credit report, while those are errors and mistakes, they really have no material change to the person's credit score. Could not be further from the truth. The credit bureaus themselves will tell you that those errors have no impact on an individual's score. After 32 years of doing this, I can bring you hundreds, if not thousands, of reports that we have worked on, that I have personally seen, where persons misspelling of name, or in the case of a female, her maiden name, she has since been married, taken on the name of her husband, and her maiden name is now listed as an alias. Those things, while they seem very minute and small and would have relatively little or no effect on a credit report, when you start adding them up, they do have an effect. More than 3 addresses on a credit report has a negative impact on an individual's credit score. If you have a misspelling of your name, that misspelling of the name is listed as an alias. And the algorithms that are used, and we'll get into that in a little bit later, but the algorithms that are used by the credit bureaus, they're not being looked at by human eyes. These are all being scored artificially. And when they use that algorithm and that algorithm pulls an alias, it automatically assumes that the individual has applied for credit under a different name. And that is not a plus. That is a negative. And it reflects as a negative on their scores as well. So 41% of the credit reports out there contain derogatory information regarding misspellings, outdated addresses, or incorrect addresses. And those all have a negative impact on an individual's credit score. 20% of the reports out there are missing major credit, loan, mortgage, or other information that demonstrates the consumer's ability to manage and pay their credit on time. 20% are missing. They just don't exist. And then 26%, and this is interesting as well, 26% contain accounts that were disclosed by that were closed by the consumer, but incorrectly listed as still being open or closed by the credit grantor. Now, the reason why I say this is interesting is an account that is closed by the credit grantor and it's listed on a person's credit report that way is automatically assumed by the algorithms that are used that there was some type of a problem with that account. And so it has a negative impact on the score. Even if the payment history has been perfect, it has a negative impact on the score because it gives the impression or the illusion that there was an issue or a problem on the part of that creditor, and on the part of the individual who had the account. So the creditor closed the account, when in fact somebody just got tired of paying 22% interest on a credit card and they cut the card up and notified the company that they were done. So those are some of the mistakes that happen. And for you watching this video, here's a homework assignment for you. Go to Google and plug into Google 40 million mistakes, comma, 60 minutes, comma, CBS. 40 million mistakes, comma, 60 minutes, comma, CBS. What you're going to get is you're going to get an 18 to 23, depending on the video clip that you want to watch, an 18 to 23 minute video of a segment that 60 Minutes did on the credit industry. And in that, they talked to attorney generals, they talked to federal regulators and legislators, senators, and it was determined that 40 million mistakes, through this one investigation, 40 million mistakes are contained. Well, that, by some estimation, is very, very low. But just using that number and assuming it's a conservative number, we know that there are approximately 240 million credit files collected by TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So you do the math. That's a lot. That's a lot of files that have been affected. So go to that. Go to Google, punch in 40 million mistakes, 60 Minutes, CBS. Watch that, and you'll see what the need, or see further what the need for credit repair is. Going back to this Public Information Research Group report, to sum it up, altogether, 70% of the credit reports. Now, is that an astounding figure? 70% of the credit reports contain errors or mistakes. Your consumers, the clients you're going to be talking to, they can't afford to have errors and mistakes on their credit. That's why Ascent is here, to eliminate those, to whitewash those, to get rid of those. We're also here to help them remove bad credit, but we'll be covering that in a later section. But credit repair covers and is a Band-Aid for a lot of injuries and wounds that have happened to people. And we leave that Band-Aid on. We don't take that Band-Aid off until the person is completely healed.